Coming up on BNN's National News in 30, find out the new methods that IBM is using to effectively collect taxes from delinquent debtors. And we'll show you the high-tech features that car buyers are now looking for before making that big purchase. Also, Cotton Incorporated shares an expensive alternative to a family vacation. All this and more on BNN's National News in 30. Thanks for tuning in to Broadcast News Network's National News in 30. I'm Stephanie Olney. IBM is expanding its fraud and abuse management portfolio with a new offering aimed at optimizing the collection of delinquent tax debts for governments around the world. The IBM Tax Collections Optimizer uses new IBM patented analytics technology to help governments identify the most effective and efficient methods to collect taxes from delinquent debtors.
State governments and other municipalities are being challenged as never before to find new sources of revenue so they can continue delivering essential services to citizens. One potential source of revenue for governments around the world is the closing of the so-called tax gap, the difference between what is assessed and what is collected. The IBM Tax Collections Optimizer uses a unique combination of data analytics and optimization techniques to create action plans for each case. The Collection Optimizer provides a customized per-case perspective as well as a total inventory view at the same time. As case files are developed, the IBM system creates a workflow that automatically looks for the focus areas that would represent the best use of an agent's time. What is the debtor's payment history? What collection methods are they responsive to? What are the legalities? What is the potential reward based on any number of variable criteria? For example, case number 1234 is assessed by the system and is found that previous annual payments averaged $100,000, but there was no payment last year, and there is a bankruptcy alert attached to the case. The system quickly determines the best course of action is to move fast and issue a warrant so that by the time the case reaches the field agent, it would be ready for levy immediately. Meanwhile, case number 5678 is analyzed and notes previous annual payments averaged $10,000, but there was no payment last year, and the taxpayer has responded well to phone calls in the past. There is also indication that the business is still active. For this case, the system determines that the case may self-resolve and recommends a phone call to be made from the call center without elevating the case to the more cost-intensive field office. With IBM's Tax Collections Optimizer, the application of advanced analytics can give governments a much-needed advantage over today's sophisticated tax evasion techniques, while potentially leading to millions of dollars in revenue from increasing the intelligence of their operations and ultimately closing that ever-elusive tax gap.
The Network Society, a group of visionaries, gather to discuss the pros and cons of having access to the world through mobile technology. Refugees United, in partnership with Ericsson, explain how their company uses an SMS text message to help families locate their loved ones in the time of tragedy and disasters.
Visionaries and trend spotters got together to define the Network Society and talk about how it's changing us as human beings.
Now all of a sudden we're interconnected, we're networking with strangers, we're having revolutions started by these tools, and so Network Society is basically ground zero now because of the mobile. You know, the mobile is finally becoming the tool of access, and also of course the 3 billion who are not privileged to have access, they're all getting online in the next 2 or 3 years. And that will create a huge wave of changes.
The Network Society is not all high-tech.
You can have these very trivial but fun and rewarding uses of this technology. So just keeping up with what your cousin is doing across the country, going on his date, you know, is fun and rewarding, and it gives you a real emotional connection to someone you care about. At the same time, you can have this unbelievably important, pressing social issue like dealing with refugees and reuniting them with their families, also using similar technologies. And that's a sign of, I think, the power of this new platform, that it can be used for just nice and pleasant things, and it can be used for really, truly world-changing things.
The founders of Refugees United talked about how a simple SMS is part of the networked society.
First and foremost, because the peoples that we're working with are not digital natives. They're not cruising the web. They're not getting their daily news fix from some text update from what have you. The people we're dealing with are very much offline with the sporadic access to any form of infrastructure. Again, be that by borrowing a phone if they can't afford their own subscription, or if they can scrape together the money to get to an internet cafe, or by finding a Refugees United office or partner office in some refugee camp providing free access to the web. So we need to think in ingenious ways of reaching our beneficiaries. That includes awareness forms. It includes offline paper forms that distributes information into the communities. It sees small blue cards stating Refugees United does this and that, given out in Cairo, suddenly ending up in southern Sudan 3 weeks later, because that's how it travels with refugees who are deprived of information and who really, really critically need information to figure out what happened to my family.
The Refugees United project is in partnership with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, mobile operator MTN, and Ericsson.
Stay tuned to see how consumers and dealers are preparing for Spring Car Care Month.